Welcome to Intentionally FinTech, the show we dive deep behind the purpose of your favorite emerging and even incumbent FinTech brands. I'm your host for today, Michael Phillips, the CEO and founder of a purpose-driven AI agency called Behold. After 7 years in the creative industry, after an unfortunate wake-up call in late January, I've made it my mission to help founders like my guests on this podcast to do what inspires them most. On this show, we're going to dive deep behind the mission and purpose of your favorite emerging or incumbent FinTech brands, the values that drive their day-to-day growth, and just how exactly clarity of purpose helps them navigate this otherwise cluttered business environment. So let us dive in today with my guest, Zhivka from Fintelect AI. She is developing a wonderful AI platform in FinTech, but I will not be doing her enough justice if I were to introduce her in my own words. So Zhivka, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. I'm very happy I'm here with you today.
I'm happy as well. So Zhivka, do you mind telling our audience a bit, what do you do at Fintelect AI?
Yes. Hello. First of all, maybe to introduce myself a bit more. My name is Zhivka Nedelkova. I'm founder and CEO of Fintelect AI and bring more about 20 years of experience in finance. I have held senior leadership roles as well in finance, both in corporate and in non-government environment. Alongside this, I'm also a lecturer in AI in finance, a teacher in AI in finance as well, and very active in initiatives that connect artificial intelligence with the future of financial management. So that's me in a nutshell. And what about Fintelect AI? What we are doing there, we are addressing a problem that, Michael, costs companies millions of dollars every year. And exactly this is fragmented financial data and the manual processes that come with it. Because, and I have a bit of statistic here, according to Gartner, poor data quality alone costs organizations an average of about $13 million annually. And finance teams know that pain very well. So that's why we built Fintelect AI. It is, in general, an AI-driven CFO assistant, finance assistant that helps businesses move beyond spreadsheets and fragmented systems and delivers real-time audit-ready insights, also financial forecasts, risk analysis, compliance support, ESG compliance as well. And that all is fully aligned with the upcoming European regulations. So in short, we combine financial expertise with artificial intelligence. So businesses can make faster, can make more intelligent, smarter, and more trustworthy decisions.
That is a wonderful platform, and I don't think we've had someone like that on the show up until now. If we did, forgive me if I'm wrong. But I think there's a unique take on the AI up until the recording of this episode. Of course, I don't know when this is going to be posted on YouTube.
That's great.
But
Great.
I have a personal question, and we're going to come back to the to you and Fintelect AI. You told me you're a professor of AI and finance. How do you see AI in the education system? Is it something people should fear?
No, I don't think that. Actually, if I have to be honest with you, AI is just not only a hype, and it hasn't been perceived as a hype, because AI isn't about replacing people, it's about supporting them. For example, in finance, it turns, in our solution, of course, fragmented data and manual work into clear and very reliable insights. So if AI is built responsibly and if it is built with explainability, with audit trails, with compliance, it actually becomes a tool you can trust. It is not a black box. And that's exactly the approach we have taken with Fintelect AI.
What would be 3 characteristics, or what would be 3 adjectives you choose to describe a quote-unquote good, reliable AI system?
Okay, it has to bring trust, it has to bring clarity, and it has to create explainability. and to bring explainability.
All right. Thank you for that. That was just my personal curiosity concerning AI. But let's go back to our discussion. We've talked about Fintelect AI and we've talked about your company. But this is intentionally fintech. So we're going to shift the spotlight onto you, if that's okay. And I would like to ask you, what was one moment in your life which led you to build Fintelect AI? If you were to think of one single moment where everything clicked, what would that moment look like?
Yes, that's very interesting question, actually. The spark, if I can say it so, the spark came from my own experience as a finance leader at all. Because as I mentioned, with more than 18 years in this field, I saw the same challenges repeated across not only mid-sized, but also among large companies. Decision makers are struggling with fragmented financial data, which are coming from different and many sources, from banks, from ERP systems, from accounting softwares, from endless Excel files as well. And yes, every month, finance teams go through the same cycle. They are collecting files, they are reconciling actuals against forecasts, against budgets. They are verifying numbers against company policies. And a lot of this is actually a manual process. It takes days and it creates errors. And very often, by the time the report is finished, the insights are actually outdated as well. And as I said, that has been confirmed during my research. Studies show that poor data quality costs organizations around $13 million annually, and other studies show that companies can lose, wait a minute, almost a quarter of their operating budget due to fragmented or duplicated data. And these numbers actually confirm what finance professionals already feel every day. The price of inefficiency is incredibly high. But there is also a deeply personal layer here for me. As a woman in fintech and AI, I've often found myself the only one in the room. And the truth and the reality is, even as employees, women face invisible barriers here. For example, bias in decision making, limited visibility, less access to networks, and I'm sure you know it very well. As a founders, the challenges get even bigger here. So, what show the numbers actually? Women-led startups receive much less funding than those led by men. For example, in Europe, almost 40% of the startups are women-led startups, yet the statistics show that they get only about 2%. The correct figure is actually 2.4% of the venture capital. And yes, that's the sad truth here, but there is another very important and very interesting statistic here. That's even though the data shows very clear that women-led startups actually perform better, because women-led startups often deliver higher returns and use capital more efficiently. They, in general, use less capital. Despite that, but female founders still find it harder to get fair funding.
That is an interesting story. But I agree with you 100%. And honestly, I would like to see a more balanced scale when it comes to the women founders. My mom is also a woman founder, by the way, so I can say I am a quote unquote a feminist on this topic. But I'm not sure
yes.
I'm not sure a man can be a feminist.
Yeah. Okay, but you have seen it firsthand as well.
Yeah.
Then that's great. Okay. Yeah, actually, yes. Once again, I think that this is a competitive advantage for the women, because it leads to a more natural and more balanced communication processes and relationship as well. Yeah,
Definitely, 100%. But we talked about the personal component, right? We also talked about the product market fit, because you told me earlier that there's a lot of disorder when it comes to financial information. It's all decentralized, and by the time you've centralized it, the data is old. So, if we were to imagine a scale like this, right? Here we had the product market fit, and here we had the personal mission of showing more, showing that women entrepreneurs can do it. better. Which one would you say is heavier? Where would you say the scale would tip?
Well, and exactly in terms of this balance I already mentioned, I don't think, at least for myself, I don't think that two can really be separated because, yeah, on one hand, there was, as I already mentioned, a very clear gap in the market. Finance teams are wasting days on fragmented data. They are drowned in the so many manual reconciliations, the requirement for so many manual reconciliations, they respectively lead to outdated reports, all that. Yes, this inefficiency is costing companies, as studies show, millions each year. But yeah, on the other hand, it also became quickly a personal mission because I lived the problem myself in my senior finance roles. And I knew very well how frustrating and how risky it can be. And beyond that, I also carried this personal motivation factor about being a woman founder in FinTech and AI, where, and this is a very strong motivation, actually, representation here is still far too low. And that was also a big motivation for me, a huge motivation for me. So yes, there was a market gap, an opportunity gap for me here in terms of the market, but it was never only about product market fits only. That it was about proving that that finance could be managed with more clarity, with more compliance, and at the same time that women can also lead this transformation.
That is a wonderful mission, purpose, whatever you want to call it. And I can tell that you're heavily motivated by it. So allow me to ask you this question. Imagine, what date is it today? I think the 12th, right? Imagine the 12th of September 2035, 10 years from now. People are talking about Zhivka and about Fintelect AI. What do you hope they say?
That's really very, very important and really very interesting also question for me. Okay, what I really hope people will say about Fintelect AI is that we brought more clarity, we brought more stability, we brought more trust into finance, that we helped companies feel more confident in their numbers and in their strategic decisions they make. But I also would like them to say that we showed how a business can be both innovative but also sustainable, and not only in a financial sense, but also in the way it opens space for more women to realize their potential as founders, as leaders as well. Because for me, diversity, and not only for me, but within the team, we keep this motivation within the team as well. Diversity is not about checking a box. Diversity is not about a goal. It's about building stronger. It's about building more balanced society and business as well.
Right. Well, there is no coincidence that I've asked you so many questions about the personal layer, because when it comes to finding purpose, you need to delve deep. And if it's okay with you, I would like to introduce a short framework that will base our conversation from now on. Is that okay with you, Zhivka?
Yes, please go ahead, Michael.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, then let me bring the trusted old card from here. My audience already knows this. This is a pretty old card. It's been with me for 2 months, but perfect. Have you heard about this golden circle framework before?
Well, in some extent, not so much.
My
but
camera is
I will
being
be
confused
happy.
by it. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I can see everything here. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so let me walk the audience through it also, just in case it's the first time they're seeing it, and I'll provide a short explanation also for you as a refresher. So this whole thing is 3 concentric circles, this whole framework, right? And in the center, we have why. In the middle section, we have how. And finally, the outer section, we have what. And people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. They buy the emotion behind it and how that makes them feel. And this framework is just a way to show that. And that's why I've chosen yellow as the color for the why. Because what this happens to do is that we start in communication. We want to feel authentic and to inspire people to buy from us. We have 2 basically ways of getting people to purchase stuff from us. Both of them are okay. One of them is manipulation, and that means 50% off. We have 3 more pieces available, just get it before it's gone. That's manipulation. And it's not nothing wrong with it, it works. But there's also inspiration. When the customer feels inspired to buy, the difference between these two is that the first one, manipulation, brings me at best a repeat customer, someone which buys again. But if there's the same product with a better price or the same price with a better product, they'll leave me. While inspiring the person to buy from me, I have a loyal customer that will stick with me through the thick times of the company. And how do we do that? Simply, we start by communicating our why. Why do we do what we do? Finally, how? How are we different? How do we do what we do? And at last, what? What is it that we do exactly? And this is what Simon Sinek coined as the Golden Circle framework. And this is helpful when it comes to customers, to investors, and also to employees, because they are the ones working, right? And I've lied to you, Zhivka, and to my audience. I always do this. I'm sorry, because this is not a circle, actually. It's a cone seen from the top. Because if we were to imagine the company, it would be a pyramid, right? And at the top, we have the founder with the why. At the middle, we have the management with the how, and the employees with the what. And I'll explain real quickly what this means. You as a founder give the direction, the mission, the purpose. If I were to quote Steve Jobs, his job at Apple is a ship with holes in it, and his job is to steer it in the right direction, not to patch the holes. That's what he meant. That's because he doesn't know how to patch holes. He knows the direction. He knows he has to go into, for example, Singapore. But at the how level, the management knows how to patch the holes, so to say. They know how to bring the why, the mission to fruition. So they're at the how level. And at the bottom level, we have the employees because they work on the product itself, on the what. And if the founder creates this megaphone-like structure where he communicates, or she communicates, this is actually very annoying, where she communicates the purpose downwards the pyramid, then we have what we call an authentic company. Because the company is doing the exact purpose that the founder imagined, and the customers are inspired to buy. Because at the bottom of the megaphone here, we have the market. And if the market knows why they buy, then that's how you get loyal customers. This is the framework I wanted to add, because out of our discussion, I've created for you a why statement. And this statement, of course, was created in 20 minutes, so it's not going to be something wow. But I hope it's going to ring a bell and touch you in the bottom of your soul. And I'll read it to you, and you let me know if it does. Because from what I got from you, it has nothing to do with finance at all, or AI. It is to bring equality and trust in the ecosystem such that together we can bring sustainability and diversity.
Very well defined. Yes.
So if I were to ask
I
you...
absolutely agree. Yes, here. Okay.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you, why does Fintelect AI exist? It exists for this very reason. How does Fintelect AI do what it does? Or how is it different? Because Zhivka, you've had your own first-hand experience with what it is to be in a disadvantaged position as a female entrepreneur. And also you've seen the market gap because you've worked in finance and the fintech also. And what do? You leverage your knowledge of finance and AI to have a company which serves this purpose. This is your golden circle, and this is what I got from here.
Yeah, sounds very well, and I think it's very similar to my own perspective and my own vision about. Yes.
Well,
yeah,
I'm happy.
Great.
I'm
Great.
happy that I did this. I'm happy that I do this. Trust me.
That's really amazing, Michael. That's really amazing.
I love having conversations and showing people their purpose, because you can't really do it on your own perspective. You need someone else to tell it to you. It's like going to a psychologist. You can't do therapy on yourself. I couldn't find my own purpose. I have to have someone help me. But okay, now that we are armed with your purpose, are you ready for the next section of our discussion?
Yes. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say that. Perfect. So, how does this purpose we've just talked about and we've identified show up in your day-to-day operations at Fintelect?
Can we define the day-to-day operations, the team, the product, clients, and maybe...
Let's go to employees, customers, and finally the board.
Okay, so in regards to the team, then, yes, for the team, or why, or I would say purpose-driven, because we are totally aware our business is purpose-driven here. It means mainly fostering a culture of questioning and inclusion. Very important for us, the inclusion. Nothing is taken as final for us. We ask on a regular basis, we ask why we are doing in this way? Can it be done better? And also very important, that questioning spirit is essential for the innovation process as well. For example, one of my co-founders is also a woman, so gender diversity in a practice. Actually, we practice this on a daily basis, and she's deeply involved in the AI and machine learning models. Despite to the contrary to the expectations that two women can naturally build maybe a more softer, a more emotional, a more consensus-oriented style of collaborations or relationship. What we, with her exactly, what we established actually is culture of constant process improvement and critical thinking. So, from the team perspective, from the employees' perspective, fostering this type of culture of questioning, of inclusion is very important for us, of critical thinking and constant process improvement. Then with the investors, I think it was,
Investors and customers, whatever.
Yeah.
But actually, let's put
Yeah.
investors last. Let's talk customers now.
Okay, yes. So in customers relationship, I would say that ROI shows up in the way we are positioning Fintelect AI, because and we believe within the team, we believe we are not just another automation tool. We are an assistant that helps businesses to see through the fog of fragmented data. Let's say it so. We are still in an early stage, and we are working closely with early clients, but exactly that provides us with the opportunity to really listen to the market voice. And by hearing what finance leaders and what businesses at all struggle with the most, we make sure that why, or at least our why, isn't just a word, but it's something people actually feel when working with us. And finally, with the investors, I think that from investors' perspective, ROI is visible in how we balance different priorities. Up until now, we have been bootstrapping, but we are already reaching this stage where we are starting to seek investment. And in those early conversations we have already, it's very important for us that we communicate our why in a way that shows exactly this balance, this natural for women-led startup balance between projected revenues and innovation, balance between compliance and innovation speed, balance between financial projections, financial growth, and the diversity and ESG principles we are committed to. So if I have to summarize, or why shows up on a daily basis, and the answer is everywhere. In our product design, in how we communicate with clients, in the culture of the team, in the way we speak to investors, in the personal responsibility I also feel as a woman founder as well.
That is a wonderful answer, Zhivka, and I can see you're talking deeply from your why, and I want to congratulate you on that, because it's clear that is something very meaningful for you. So I wish you all the best with Fintelect AI, and I hope you get where you want to go. That sums up our section right now. Let us move to purpose and regulation, because I know it, you know it, and you briefly touched upon it in the introduction, that especially fintech, but also an AI fintech, is targeted by regulation. So I wanted to ask you, how do you navigate regulation while still being true to your purpose? Do you feel like regulation is kind of, bordering your purpose, or does it not affect it at all?
If you allow me, I will start actually with summarizing with one sentence all of this topic. Then I go further with the details.
Sure.
Regulations is part of our why. It's just part of our why. And this is in, I can observe it in two separate layers here, the regulation. First, we align with the existing and the upcoming frameworks, especially, of course, for us, this is the European AI Act. And even though, yes, it is still evolving, its direction is clear. It can be mentioned with three words, with three phrases here: transparency, accountability, and risk management. And for us, that means building our platform to be audit ready, to be with explainable models, to be with data traceability and safeguards, and that's really very important, and safeguard that keep human oversight at the core. Because finance is a high trust industry, and one mistake in reporting or in forecasting, of course, it can impact the entire business here. So we make compliance not just a box to tick, but a key part of our value proposition as well. And second here, and yes, this is important also to be discussed within the society. There is a broader debate in the market here. People often say, I have heard often people to say, but the AI Act isn't still finalized. There is still no clarity in how, and no clear roadmap for how it will be applied in financial organizations still. And that's true. The practical actually details are still unfolding, and no one can claim that there is a perfect blueprint here. But what we mean when we say we align with the regulations process, we build accordingly to the spirit of the law, with transparency, with explainability, with human in the loop decision making here. For example, all models are designed to be explainable, not just black box. Every automated output here can be traced back to its underlying assumption here, and that's maybe that's the essence here. We don't just reply financial judgment, we support the financial judgment here. And that's exactly the type of approach regulations are looking for. So alignment here to the regulations is not just about the compliance, it's about staying true to our purpose, to our why as well.
That's a very first on the podcast here. We've had people to say that sometimes regulation limits them. People said that regulation doesn't touch them at all when it comes to the why. But you're the very first person to say that regulation is embedded in your purpose. So yours is a very unique fintech, and I can only be happy and proud that I have you here right now today for this intentional slot of 45 minutes, or however much this podcast is going to end up being.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much for this so amazing words.
Don't
I'm
worry.
very happy. Yes.
Okay, let us move, because you said that you are tackling your why when it comes to investment also. So let me ask you this question. Do you think investors can tell when a fintech stands for something, when a fintech has a purpose, and that's what leads them to invest? Or do you think they're more interested in the checklist, having good assumptions, having good performer statements, having a good pitch when it comes to delivery? What do you think that matters to them most, purpose or having this checklist?
Well, I believe investors can absolutely tell when a company has a real purpose, because yes, numbers matters. They are very, very important, but investors look, in my opinion, in terms of the meetings I already had and discussions I already had, they look beyond the spreadsheets. They look for uniqueness, they look for consistency, they look for long-term value as well. From my experience, investors always have been asked, or at least us, these two layers of questions, not only about growth projections, but also about how company is building trust here, how company is building differentiation here, how company is building resilience here. And that second layer is where purpose, at least for them, becomes visible as well. So they can also tell when, in my opinion, diversity is not only just a modern buzzword, but a conscious choice. So in my opinion, and in general, yes, investors can tell, because it's a business purpose driven, because purpose isn't something that you can make. We can make. It's not just about fake it till make it. If it's only a slide in the pitch deck, they just will see through it. But if it's embedded, if it's applied in how you design your product, how you your purpose, value proposition, how you treat clients, how you align with the regulations, how you create the team culture, then investors not only recognize it, they also value.
I couldn't agree more. And I will give a spoiler from the next season of this podcast, which is a special season where we have special people from not founders anymore. It's a short 3-4 episode season. And then we've had someone, I can't say exactly what he does or who he is, but he said something which was resonated with what you said. He said, fake it till you make it, but suffer the consequences.
I couldn't agree here more as well, yes. Yeah.
So it reminded me of that. So I'm super happy that this is something you also agree with. But let us move on. And by moving on, I mean let's rewind back to the early days of Fintelect AI, back when the resources were very tight and you had to make critical decisions. Where do the resources go? How did your purpose help you allocate these resources in a meaningful way?
Well, that's really interesting here as well. Question. I actually think that if I would really change something here, in terms of the purpose in this very early stage, we are also in early stage now. Maybe exactly creating this team culture was the very important and the key, the very significant and main base for us to create, first of all. And yes, as I already said, because we have established, first of all, in this very, very early stage, a team culture when we are constantly questioning, when we are constantly fostering a culture of critical thinking. That was really very important for us to grow as a purpose-driven company as well in this early stage. That helped us a lot and supported us a lot.
I understand. This is my favorite question for today, by the way. Imagine this AirPods case was a magic wand. And if I could wave it at the screen or over your business right now, whatever you would want to change would change in an instant. What would you change and why?
Another one very interesting question here. I would really change, if I have this magic wand here, maybe the speed at which we can grow our team and we can scale the product, because Fintelect AI brings a high impact value even now with the value proposition. But what would make the biggest difference here is having the resources to accelerate, and in terms of building more features, expanding partnerships, and expanding our reach faster. So if I have a magic wand, I wouldn't change what we are doing, but just this magic wand would give us more capacity to do it sooner, to do it with greater impact.
Well, I can try to do this, but I can't make any promises.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately not. A final question for today. If more fintechs actually showed their purpose and led with purpose, not just ambition of revolutionizing the industry like everybody is doing right now, what do you think would change?
Okay, yeah, first of all, there will be several layers here, and there are several layers here. First of all, I think that the industry would be in a much, much stronger place because we will see much more trust from the clients. Why is that? Because purpose-driven companies focus on building clarity, focus on building long-term value instead of just chasing, as you say, quick wins. Yeah, here. So trust is, and especially in the financial services, trust is the foundation of financial services. And clients know very well how and when it is authentic. It is, but there is also a second one, I would say, even more important layer here. When more businesses are purpose-driven, I think that we would see also real innovation process here. Because purpose encourages companies to focus on solving really important and meaningful problems, pain points, exactly. For our case, of course, this is fragmented data, financial inclusion, or yes, sustainable growth as well, instead of just building features for the hype, just for the hype. It is AI, yes, it is for the hype, okay. And that kind of innovation has even deeper impact. It creates tools that truly change also how businesses operate. Also, from the perspective of investors, they wouldn't just evaluate revenue projections, they would evaluate uniqueness, they would evaluate alignment with the real needs, with the long-term resilience and sustainability as well. Because yes, purpose-driven businesses, I think at least, so they stand out because they somehow balance all this growth with responsibility. Yeah, something also even more important here, we will see a more diverse leadership. When companies act with more purpose, they also are more intentional about inclusion and diversity.
I couldn't agree more. Authentic leadership is something which stems from purpose. All right, Zhivka. We've talked about purpose the whole episode, the whole 45 minutes of it. And I want to raise a short, if you want, challenge. Actually, not a challenge, but it's a curveball, which we give everyone here on our podcast. Are you familiar with the celery test at all?
Not so much. In some extent, yes, but not so much. We'll be grateful to provide more details.
Okay. We'll do it also for the audience at home who probably didn't watch other episodes. So the celery test comes from this metaphor. If I were to be a health guru and I would be into getting people healthy, which one do you think I'd be serving? Would I be serving some fast food as a plate of food or a salad made out of celery? Which one do you reckon?
I think celery. Of course, celery salad, yeah.
Exactly. That's where the name of the test comes from. And it aims to see whether companies are doing something which is in line with their purpose. Basically, if what they're doing is a witness to their why. Would you be down to look at, I don't know, maybe your website, just to look at it, see if what you're saying and the way it shows is in line with your purpose, which we have here, the one to bring equality and trust in the ecosystem?
Yes, please. Yes.
Perfect.
I think the website, yes, here.
All right, Zhivka, are you seeing the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you recognize this website?
Yes, that's our website.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned if you didn't, to be honest. All right. Can you?
Which website is that? Yeah.
Can you also see when I'm marking stuff, because I'll be doing this a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So I'll be looking at a couple of things over in here. So just so I get an idea, and then I'll give you some feedback and everything. All right. Empowering your financial future with AI, expert AI implementation, FinTech, CFO, financial product management, consult service tailored for your business needs. Get started. Fractional services. Okay, so you're talking about what the product is here. Welcome to Fintelect AI. I'm Zhivka Nedelkova, founder and CEO of Fintelect AI. Okay, I'm just skipping through this because otherwise we'd be here up until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, finding elegance. I like that you've put a picture of you here because people buy from people, and you're one of the very few people who've actually seen put themselves on the website. So that's a start, and it also goes in line with your why of equality and trust because you're putting out the women entrepreneur forward. So that's a big point here for you. All right, the vision takes shape. Okay. I can see that you have your story here, so that's a good thing. But what I would do, I would make it more condensed so that even someone who skims can actually see what the whole story behind Fintelect AI. That's one thing that I do. Testimonials. This is good. I like this because when you have testimonials, you put that trust out there. That's also in line with your why because you're here to bring trust. So you also need to offer trust. Who we are. I like this. Team combines financial. Okay. A little bit about the founders here. I like this. Why FinTech? I like that you have this section here. That's a very good thing. let's see. Let's read this for a second. I would like you to mention in such a section also the idea of equality and trust and sustainability and diversity, because that's also in your why statement, so people understand what you stand for. So just put a little bit of your values in the text so people can get that idea. But other than that, it's okay. Right? Transform. I like this. It's a call to action. By the way, I'm only looking at the way you communicate your purpose through what we have here. I'm not judging anything else. What drives us? You have them here. Okay. I wouldn't have so many. This is just a UX tip. I would put these two in one page. That's the only thing that I'll do. But yeah. Okay, contact us, location, CTA. Okay, this is the what, the solution itself, the brain behind. Okay. Oh, there's more. No, that's the footer. And you have media, so this is social proof. So that's good. It's very good that you have this. Because this also gives social proof and goes with the idea of trust. Contact and blog, I don't think I have anything to see here because this is just, well, a standard blog and a standard contact form. But I've seen enough. All right. Are you ready for my feedback and verdict?
Yes, I'm eager here.
Okay, so what I have seen for now is this. That you have a website and it's good, it's okay. You're communicating about your platform clearly, but if you want to have that purpose-driven voice and that purpose-driven sounding and that purpose-driven brand, I would shift the narrative around and start with my why and make it easy for me to find it on the landing page. Move on to how, your unique selling points, and finally, what do you do? And to give you a perspective as to how that works and why that works, let's just look at my business for an example, or me. I exist to help founders do what inspires them most, so that together we can have a more authentic business environment. This is my why statement. How? Well, how do I do that? Through my first-hand experience of finding purpose and through my extensive knowledge of organizational psychology. And finally, what? I just happen to do branding to help people alleviate their purpose. You see how everything sounds like a coherent story? This is exactly what I would like to see for Fintelect AI also. I like that you've had your why over there. Just merge those two pages in one. And where you, on the landing page, make the text more condensed, because people and founders and generally don't have time to read through everything. Everything is skimmable. So if you could make in a nutshell a presentation of what you wrote there, that will be it. So that's the feedback I have for now, and that's about it. If I were to give you a grade, for me a passing grade is 7. So if you're at 7, you're at visionary level, everything's perfect, I have nothing to tell you. I would put you at a 5.5 because you've mentioned stuff. You just need some correction. That's a very good score. We had people fail this, so congratulations.
Great. I'm happy. Thank you, Michael, for your feedback. I appreciate it very much. I think it's very valuable for us how others see the brand here. So thank you. But definitely there is a room for improvement here.
There is always room for improvement.
Always, yes.
But thank you, Zhivka, for coming live with me today. And thank you guys for tuning in. Zhivka, do you have any final thoughts for the audience before we log off?
Yes, maybe just one more thing. Don't afraid to be brave and to take the first step. Just do it. That's everything.
That is a very good final thought. I second that of Zhivka's. Be brave, guys, and be brave enough to check the other episodes we have on the channel, depending where you're watching this from. We have more salary tests. We have more beautiful founders like Zhivka over here with beautiful purposes who are willing and cannot wait to be discovered by you guys. You can find out Zhivka's socials and her company's socials somewhere around where you're watching this from in the description, the very last lines, and make sure you give her some love and feedback. And if you see her option as being something your business needs, don't be afraid and be brave to check her out. Other than that, I've been Michael Phillips, your host for today. Thank you for tuning in Intentionally FinTech, and I'll see you in the other episodes. Have a good day, guys.